welcome back to Maximum Production, a Holstein Friesian New Zealand podcast about everything to do with cows. I'm your host, Amelia, and our guest host today joining me is Andrew Reyland from PGG Wrightsons. Andrew has been a stock agent for many years with a lot of experience selling pedigree animals. So welcome, Andrew.
Thank you.
With sales season getting underway around the country, we thought it would be a good idea to cover off what to look out for when buying stock. Things like what tells you an animal is registered on a 3GP and what assurances you have as the buyer. So first off, Andrew, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got to where you are today and how long you've been doing what you're doing?
Certainly. I was actually brought up on a dairy farm. Mum and Dad were shearmilking around the Waikato and then bought a farm in Tauranga. Mum and Dad had a Holstein Friesian herd under the Silver Sea prefix and did a bit of showing. They sold their herd when I was 14. I went farming as a young married man in the Waikato. I milked a lot of cows over a 15-year period, including managing 1,800 cows at Mercer on a conversion farm and also 50-50 share milking on 460 cows at T-Rail. I have 3 grown-up children and 7 grandchildren, which all live in West Australia, and I'm married to Lynn, and we farm 65 hectares of dry stock just out on the outskirts of Hamilton.
So how long have you been working as a stock agent for?
I've been a livestock agent for about 25 years, probably 18 of which I've been involved with the pedigree and genetic side of the livestock business.
So a long time, lots of experience.
Long time, yep. But it's been very good. Yeah.
What do you think are important things people need to be aware of or take notice of before placing a bid?
So first off, if they're registered cattle, they're normally got a full name at the top of the 3GP, along with reference to the sire and also the female's family name, or at least the first initial of the family name. Most of the sales that we run now, the cattle have been DNA profiled both to the sire and the dam, and this gives the purchasers a lot more confidence in the information on the 3GP. If they're ET animals, they definitely need to be profiled as well, and they normally have an ET at the end of the name. With the mating and the due to calve dates, they usually are there along with a expected calf sire, and in the front of the catalogue we would normally have a run with bull date as well to cover the possibility of the animal having returned to the bull, especially if they are at grazing, etc. More and more vendors are getting them scanned to date, which again gives the buyer more confidence. I think people need to make themselves familiar with the TOP scoring. The main ones that I personally look at are udder overall, which is UO, dairy conformation, DC, the stature of the animal, which is S, and capacity, which is C. I also look at the genomic indicator BVs, especially, again, the udder overall capacity, the live weight, and the protein fat BVs.
So there are actually 4 different ways to tell if an animal is registered on a 3GP, including what Andrew just said regarding an animal being named with a stud prefix. And because anyone can name an animal reminder, it is important to check one of the other points to ensure the animal is actually registered. So the easiest way to tell if an animal is registered is by the corresponding breed society logo on the top left corner of the 3GP. If an animal isn't registered, the LIC logo is present instead of the breed society logo. Another way is where it states the breed 16th of an animal. If the animal is registered, there will be, for example, if it's a Holstein Friesian, an SF and then the breed 16th, or if it's for a supplementary animal, registered animal, if it's a full pedigree, it'll have PF and then F16. And then the last way to tell if it's registered is where it actually has the name, right above where the name is. It'll actually say registered Holstein Friesian. If it's a supplementary, it'll say registered Holstein Friesian supplementary, or just registered Holstein Friesian pedigree. For example, if it's a Jersey, it'll say registered Jersey supplementary or registered Jersey pedigree. Same for an Ayrshire or any other breed society there.
You just sort of take it for granted when you're looking at Tony O'Connor's 3GP that it's registered, don't you? But yeah, as you say, people can and do name cattle that aren't registered.
We get caught out every year post sales with people that have purchased animals that they thought were registered.
Okay.
And more so with what we're going to go into next, talking about like pulled apart pedigrees. But they think just because it has a name that it's registered.
Yeah.
So a take home for people today, I think especially, will be have a look. Number one, is there a breed society logo on top, whether it be a Holstein, an Ayrshire, a Jersey, that is there. Yep. And also having the PF or the SF is another way for you to just check that it is registered. But as you said, the parentage verification is very easy to tell on a 3GP. Do you want to explain a little bit for people that might be getting into sales for the first ever time what 3GP stands for?
So 3GP, for people that are not familiar with it, is a 3-generation pedigree. So basically it is what it says. I've got the animal that we're talking about that may be getting sold. Then they've got their next generation is a sire and the dam. Next generation is a grandsire and granddam, and so forth. So you end up with information on probably 25 animals on a 3-generation pedigree, or 25.
Our second question for you today, Andrew: pulled apart pedigrees. We are seeing a lot more of these coming through with these elite pedigree herds that are coming out. So what information must be available to potential buyers if that's what they're looking at as a pulled apart pedigree?
Okay. Depending on if the animal is a result of an imported embryo or not, a 3-generation pedigree doesn't give a lot of information on an import animal. So more and more you'll see on a pulled apart pedigree, you'll see its registered name, the parentage DNA verified, birth ID and date of birth. You'll also get the sire and dam, the granddam and the great granddam, production and classification details, mating details if they're in calf animal. Often a lot more information is on these pulled apart generations as well. If they're international families, they'll often have production or classification for 6 or 7 generations, including more often than not performances at shows overseas. If it's a New Zealand family, you'd expect to see New Zealand TOP scores of at least the dam and also the individual if she's been classified in New Zealand. If they've decided to include BW information on some animals, they should include that on all the animals in the pedigree.
And I think people also need to know that if they want to see the original 3GP, vendors had to have that information to create the pulled apart pedigree.
Yep.
So they're welcome to contact either the breed society, the agent, or the vendor to get an official copy of the original 3GP if they wish.
Yeah, I think certainly the vendor or the agent should be able to get that information for a purchaser.
So what assurances do buyers have if something doesn't turn out as advertised that they've purchased? So, for example, you purchase this animal, you've spent big money on it, and then it doesn't calve. It doesn't calve when it's expected to, or the calf is not what you thought. Like it turns out to be a Hereford, and there's no record of them running it with a Hereford bull. It should be a Friesian, or it should be a Jersey, or something like that. Yep. Where can they go? Who can they talk to?
So I think in the first instance, you either talk to the agent or the vendor. Usually at the front of the catalogue, there is a conditions of sale that we put in, which covers most things that may crop up. Like if an animal is found to be empty, any claim should include a veterinary certificate. If normally we would have run with bull dates as well as an AI date. So just be, I suppose, buyer beware that cattle come in season and get mated by a bull, and don't always see that. So if there's a run by bull date, it's not necessarily mean that the animal is carrying that valuable AI mating. And that's why I say a lot of people now do have scan dates where they've been scanned and calved to that date, and that's possibly going to be more and more. That will happen more and more in the future, I believe.
Yeah, it is great that people are doing more pregnancy scanning before selling and things like that to make sure that that information is as correct as possible before
Yep.
they're putting anything
Yep.
into a catalogue.
Yep.
And normally what we're seeing also is if they don't scan until after the catalogue goes out, they send out updates, and it's available on the day of the sale as well if there's any changes.
Yep, that's right.
It's great to see. Sales are really starting to kick off soon. What sales are you looking forward to this year? I know you'll have a few under your belt.
Yeah, well, last year we had quite a few high-profile Holstein Friesian dispersal sales, including Westdale, Rivendell, Parkview, and Fermoy. This year, not so many. I'm really looking forward to the Busybrook sale, Tea House sale of the Deans, and the Holstein Friesian Conference sale in June.
You know, the Busybrook sale always brings a lot of people out. They've got, was 150 lots?
140 lots. Yep.
Yeah. So, and not just New Zealand animals, and it's a wide range of variety of animals, Australian animals in there as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing that sale as well. I think it'll be really great.
Be very exciting. Nathan does the job right, that's for sure.
So I guess the only other thing is, if people are looking at doing a sale themselves, I know that you are more than happy to talk to them and run them through those kinds of things. But also Holstein Friesian New Zealand office actually offers the service to put together sale catalogues. Helen in our office is a great graphic designer. And she's designed quite a few catalogues for different sales over the years, including the Westdale and the Rivendell one last year. She normally does the Taranaki branch one, which they decided not to hold a sale this year. But I think just people in New Zealand, if you're interested in doing that, you quite often work with Helen.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, Helen's got everything at her fingertips, and she's certainly become very efficient at turning out a great product, actually.
Yeah. She does a great job. Cool. Well, I think that's all my questions.
Okay.
I think Andrew will feel a little bit relieved. So thank you for giving up your time today, Andrew, and coming and having a chat with me.
Yep.
I just have one last question for you. In all your years as a stock agent, what has been your most memorable sale?
Okay, I think that's reasonably easy to answer for myself. And it probably goes back a long way to when I was 10 or 12. My dad took me to a couple of annual sales of Lindcrest stud. So it was about 35 years later, it was a real privilege to be involved with the dispersal sale of Michael and Mora's. And the herd, it certainly stood the test of time, and are truly passionate farmers of the Holstein cow, and great people. So they, I really, a lot of history there. The cows have gone out and done particularly well around the country. And it's great to be involved with young Dylan, the grandson, who's carrying on the Lindcrest name. I suppose I can say, and probably finishing up, I really enjoy my time in this industry. I work for a great company, and has enabled me to meet lots of breeders from right around the country, who a lot of them have become good friends. And I love helping young breeders, picking out cows and helping them on the journey in the industry.
And I know that everyone likes and enjoys working with you.
Mm.
You always run great sales, and you know the people that you're talking to and what they want, which is always great. So thank you again, Andrew, for your expertise.
Oh, hopefully this might help somebody out.
Yeah,
Or they
hopefully.
give us a ring.
That's true. If anyone has any questions, feel free to contact Andrew at any time through PGG Wrightson's. I'm sure he'll answer any questions that you've got. So thank you all for listening. I'll be back next month with an all new episode for you and a new guest host. If you have any topics you would like me to cover on the podcast, you can get in contact with me through our Facebook page, Holstein Friesian New Zealand, or you can follow us on our Instagram, Holstein_Friesian NZ, or you can also message us through our website, nzholstein.org.nz. I think that's all of them. So we hope to see you guys back here next month. Thanks. Bye.